Good morning, this is Dr. Justina Agnieszka Chevalier. This is the second video that is to explain and promote methods that I introduced in my book Predators Want to Love, Not Kill in Nature, based on observation of species of animals in forest and desert, and that is to re-establish the natural state of things and make persons take appropriate actions, and also after appropriate training enable such as part of a resocialization and correctional maneuvers, systematic ones, and I designed a method to do so. This is video number 2. In video number 1 I explained the initial ecosystem yielded alignment of two persons that are adults or close to puberty and post-puberty in mimicking to align in the same space as close as possible in personal tastes. So persons seek the same type of food, in personal crave the same type of food, have same level of appetite, have at the same time similar physiologic needs, for instance, so use or seek the same bathrooms, and also seek for in a response of to cold or heat same temperatures, and are in a function of one another, dependable of one another's presence often. All that also is expressed in clothes, so persons subconsciously choose the same colors in the morning, choose same location as preferred by each, not knowing about one another. And that is also based, it is important to note, based on yielded by the ecosystem also interest, pursuits of work and education for non-selective survival, to make that couple as useful, enabling possibility of pursuit of own family as possible to others, to be able to do such and then be able to take time to have that family. Because normally sexual activity and love impedes in being more attractive or most attractive interactions with all others as less favorable to that purpose, expressed in each of those individuals by two as less attractive, less wanted, or disturbing even, and is also manifested as a impediment, an inability to work, lack of attention, a cessation of cognitive function, and less coherent speech, because of in function of the one another persons are in love and pursue sexual arousal to engage in sexual act in response to one another in synchromatic way. That means that there is no other, and the jealousy is not warranted unless change of that pursuit based on non-reciprocity, denial of such, upsetness with that process that happens naturally, or a realization that this is actually adjustment occurring in many to cohabitance in a given area as a group. And that realization then does not exclude coupling pending declaration of such romantic personal interest and response in delight sought after, that motivates then this inhibition or pursuit of that woman, and reciprocity, which means joy of that woman, and change in clothes to clothes that is considered desirous, wearing makeup, care for self that is for that man a sign that she is interested, until couple binds, has sex, and binds in pleasure to become a family unit and have children, forming attachment that based on that pleasure and memory of such marks that couple as preferred toward one another in pursuit of sexual activity and children and all of life goals and basic needs together or for the other person in a exchangeable or proportional way. That is now time to describe that confusion in nature of pursuit to the asexual one, both pursued based on adult loyalty of a person who is most desired and likeliest by the ecosystem, not knowing by that person. Persons do not assume to correspond with romantic love and sexual infatuation and interest to pursue child. And so that contrasted, confronted with reality, then guides action, and we need to teach that as sexual education as to is that person truly interested because there are no lies, or is that person actually changing because there's another man that she prefers, that motivates moving without harming that person to a woman that looks alike that person and behaves like that person, presents in same manner, but has more love and sexual interest in that man, as opposed to trying to eliminate that first female as obstacle who is simply wooed by another man, not self. You see? And so that is one thing. Men and women in nature, the same as animals, for instance, dogs, be it domesticated or wild ones or cats, pursue person who could potentially, per ecosystem, become lifelong mating partner to share life with. First, in case of being harmed, in case of male being unable to pursue that female, to mate and to bond with her or provide for her, and in case of being trapped also and weakened or unsure to how that female is feeling about that man. And so that then is mistaken with sexual pursuit. Imagine if the person is trapped, for instance, in jail or in nature, in some trap, in some cave, for instance, that where a rock fell and that male is trapped. The female or sends a group or goes there to liberate that man, and then escapes to give freedom to assure that that man is interested in her as opposed to others. That force preliminary bond alike fondness or friendship, and does not mean relationship yet. Relationship is as close as possible to mutual declaration of sexual interest, as great in pleasure as having child only with that particular individual. Each of these have to have such realization, as opposed to all others. And based on that reciprocity declared one, appears then mating that is appropriate, where male becomes, like pheasant for instance, more aggressive, more louder, more colorful, more trying to perform as much good as possible in the area to be able to deserve peace and safety, to have in that area family and that female and children safe and accepted. And that female then enters that, like a pheasant that is gray, a stage of being more passive, however more explicit in obvious trust. And that is being alpha to alpha male in couples, each alpha female, meaning a female that is actually primary to that male, or can be described as beta when that realization is close enough that that man can be trusted, and that female assumes the role of passive in behavior, in intellectual activity, and in a displacement role, and provides nest and nesting in humans similar to wolves and to other animals that where female prepares that nest to wait for that male to pursue her. And so that is when that male approaches or circles around that place until he can meet her and confront her with doing good to her as opposed to all others, to display sexual interest and preference for her, for life. And she needs to respond towards him in showing preference for him as opposed to all others, to accept him into also own household, and announce then with voice, singing, which art consists of, and other maneuvers, and conscious wearing or choice of clothes or of habits, of places, providing for him that he is the one that she prefers as mating partner, sexual partner, for spouse, for lifelong sharing of life, to have children with. And that is then secondary, based on role division pursuit that I described in this book, as opposed to pursuit secondary to life-saving or empowering in physical capacity and in freedom, as well as empowering in making sure that there is no death nor harm in the area to others, so that persons can pursue household, children, and life together as opposed to work. And so that primary pursuit, it is called as such primary to save life, and males and females do such alike. Females sometimes assuming visible male characteristics of a chosen, preferred sexually partner for life in love. To have that man enabled in freedom, in also power, and in a health to pursue her. And males do the same when women are trapped, harmed, or are impeded from such pursuit by confusion that that man is not interested, by declarations, songs, etc., like similar to females. When that becomes primary, there is no pursuit, because female pursuing a male discourages that man. Because of how anatomy is built, man is donor of semen to fertilize a female, and female is the one who will become enlarged, carrying that baby, and more passive, in need of provision by that man. And so that is why men who are more generous, one who has a reflex to give it all to her, are preferred, because that is a sign that if she's pregnant and heavy, he will not go anywhere else, but when she's hungry or hungry are children, he will bring everything home and he will provide for her. So that primary pursuit then makes from persons who are enabled to such, chosen based on intentionality of pursuit of such female, declared as romantic and sexual, and as preference to all others of that one particular female, by that female. And impeding such pursuit is when that male does not pursue one woman, but pursues many, and that desire and basic instinct interest is non-sufficient in comparison to others in reciprocity, expressed in preparation for mating, which are relaxation of muscles, non-escaping, being milder, being less able to express or provide for self, and all that, or seek such from family and others. And that is in degree of interest of that male, and chances to have that male provide and be accepted as such. Seriousness of interest is manifested in readiness to have a child together as outcome of best in pleasure sexual act per couple, and then makes physical contact or niceness unwanted and undesired, and warrants then in humans recognition of such to as couple, and pursuit of marriage license to protect that couple from impeding of sexual life and having children, and recognition as common of all goods and also all pursuits. That is the scope, not forcing couples that are less than some other combination. We need to remember that. And in animal world, declaration is in cohabiting same space in closeness, and displays of tenderness in public per animals, to have other animals recognize that this is the winning combination, and move on to pursuit of others who prefer in reciprocity more being pursued that other persons or suitors, as opposed to eliminating them that warrants detention, warrants then fights and being harmed in self-defense.